चला सगळ्यांना सुप्रभात. आज मराठीत. आज युनायटेड नेशन्सनी वर्ल्ड आर्किटेक्चर डे जाहीर केलेला आहे आणि एक योगायोगाची गोष्ट म्हणजे वर्ल्ड हॅबिटॅट डेसुद्धा आज आहे. हा सर्व आर्किटेक्ट्सच्या दृष्टिकोनातून आणि प्लॅनर्सच्या दृष्टिकोनातून फार महत्त्वाचा दिवस आहे की जो जागतिक स्तरावर पाळला जातो. आणि आपल्या कॉलेजमध्ये BNCAमध्ये फार मोठ्या प्रमाणावर आजच्या दिवशी निरनिराळ्या प्रकारचे कार्यक्रम होतात. अनेक आपल्याला ज्या माजी विद्यार्थिनी आहेत त्या आपल्याला सहभागी होतात आणि आम्हाला खूप अभिमान वाटतो की ज्या आमच्या माजी विद्यार्थिनी आहेत त्या आज आर्किटेक्चरच्या प्रॅक्टिसमध्ये खूप वरच्या स्तरावर पोचलेल्या आहेत आणि हा आमच्या दृष्टीने एक अभिमानाची बाब आहे. त्यामुळे आणि त्याचबरोबर त्या एक आदर्श म्हणून सध्याच्या ज्या आमच्या विद्यार्थिनी आहेत त्यांच्यासमोर त्यांनी उदाहरण ठेवलेलं आहे. तर मी सर्व आर्किटेक्ट्सना, सहकार्यांना, माजी विद्यार्थिनींना आणि सध्याच्या विद्यार्थिनींना मी या प्रसंगी आर्किटेक्चर दिनाच्या शुभेच्छा देतो आणि त्यांनी जगामध्ये आर्किटेक्चरचं महत्त्व हे अधोरेखित करून सर्वांना, सर्वसामान्य जनतेला याविषयी माहिती द्यावी आणि आर्किटेक्चर हे लोकप्रिय करावं अशी मी सगळ्यांना विनंती करतो. धन्यवाद.
A happy World Architecture's Day to all architects and all architecture students. Architecture has always been considered as a profession for the wealthy, but we have looked at architecture in a different way in our institute, and we have always looked at architecture as something which serves the different causes, social causes, different needs of the poor and the needy, where design interventions can actually help them overcome their problems. We have done this through our academic programs, projects, outreach activities, etc. And I am also proud that a lot of our alumni have followed suit in their practices as well, where they are working for different strata of society who actually need architecture design interventions for addressing their issues. So the following podcast that we are having of the works of our alumni would illustrate this point that I just put forward. And we look forward for more and more of our alumni to follow suit and make the nation and the college proud. All the best to all of you.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the World Architecture Day. The World Architecture Day is celebrated on the first Monday of October every year. This is celebrated to basically acknowledge the commitment of the architects and the city planners for this profession. This profession gives a lot to the society, the community, its well-being, and its overall strength. BNCA Alumni is shaped to represent the women workforce in this fraternity. And our students do basically a very good job of balancing the role of their profession, their home, and offer sincerity to this profession. And I'm sure that our students will take on the world and will be representing BNCA in the forefront. Thank you.
Greetings on occasion of the World Architecture Day 2025, highlighting the theme Design for Strength to create sustainable, inclusive and resilient communities. Under the visionary leadership of Principal Dr. Anurag Kashyap and the BNCA team, along with our alumni as a brand ambassadors, BNCA has built a strong global reputation over last 3 decades. In the initial phase, we have planned 2 podcasts of BNCA Alumni Stories. We aim to cultivate a deeper connection between academics and professional world, inspiring the next generation of architects. I am sure you will enjoy these podcasts. Happy World Architecture Day from Ekatra BNCA Alumni Association.
Welcome to BNCA Alumni Stories, the podcast where we connect with the graduates of Dr. Bhanuben Nanavati College of Architecture who are making their mark in the world of design. Today, as we are in a conversation with an aspiring alumni, Rutuja Rode, an architect who seamlessly blends computation, creativity, and culture. She is the founder of MetaArch, a computational design with AAE MTech and the visionary behind the Bollywood movement. And as we mark the World Architecture Day 2025 with the theme Design for Strength, announced by the International Union of Architects, we'll explore how architects can build resilient, adaptable, and culturally sensitive environments withstand, adapt to, and recover from today's urban challenges. So Rutuja, thank you for being with us. The first question is, what do you think about the theme for this year and how will your work align with it?
So thank you, Drishti. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. And thank you for having me on your podcast series. And I think I'm one of your first guests. So now talking about strength in design, which is the theme for this year, I feel that it's very important for us to really start looking at resilience as the bottom line of our design narrative. We are in a world where our cities are completely overpopulated.
Yeah.
And right now, if you look around, the memory of your city is redevelopment, right?
Yeah.
So that's the picture in your head. Saying that we are looking at a city which is now going to be built for the next 100 years. And this is not just our city, Pune, but I'm talking about all the cities across India. So it is highly relevant to look at strength in the term of sustainability, in terms of spaces that not only are sustainable in terms of material, but they have a connection in the society that is shaping your life. You're looking at these spaces, walking through them, seeing them on a daily basis. So saying that strength is, I think, the most important and relevant subject that we are looking at.
Yeah. So looking back, was there a turning point in your career that really shaped your professional path, for better or worse?
Yes, so let me start with this. I was actually a very bad student and I used to run away from classes up till my second, third year to go and dance. So to a point where I even thought that I'm going to just give up on architecture and I'm going to pursue dancing, full time. And it is because of BNCA that gave me the support that no, you can do both. And when you will do both is when you will flourish. And these instances have kept on happening. So, that was the starting point when I realized that, okay, let's focus a bit. Let's manage our time. And that's when I actually then became a good student. I'm not bragging, but then I did. I did well in my thesis. And then same thing carried forward in life as well. So anytime there was a, downward situation, we are talking of strength in design, right? It comes from the strength in your mind. So really it was about exercising the mind at many points in your career. And the instances can be of different scales. It's just your perspective and how you not let it, come to you. So there were many turning points like these which shaped me to become better. But the first one was when I was in college and, BNCA gave me that space to really learn and understand. And that exercise kept, me going every time such a situation occurred.
Yeah. What do you believe is the social responsibility of architects in today's world, especially in Indian cities?
I think social responsibility and architecture are not two subjects at all. It's one subject because we are the ones who are developing the society. We are the ones who are shaping it. It's as simple as, the scale of spaces that come together and how they affect a mind's, psyche, a person's complete livability. So right from spatial juxtaposition to materials to playing with light, an architect is, playing a role on a space or structure that is going to stay there for the next 100, 200 years. So social responsibility is an underlying factor to every line that we are drawing. So I don't think that these two are different subjects, and it is of utmost importance that the architect has to not only think about the users that are inside the building, but the millions of users that are passing the space, the building, the landscape, whatever.
Yeah.
So you are a part of the society, you are change makers. And I think today architects need to look at emerging problems, such as, let's say that it's a war situation or it's a calamity of floods. So we need to look at this problem as an emerging one, and we need to give solutions that are curbing this problem for the greater good. So it is a social responsibility, I would say 100%.
Yeah. What's been the biggest challenge in your practice so far, and how did you navigate it?
So there are many challenges. Which one do you want to know?
The biggest challenge or the most difficult one which you faced?
I think let's come to the most common one, which is where you are trying to understand the client's side of things, where clients usually do not understand the difference between how to spend right. It's not about saving money, but it's about spending right. So that's the most important point which I have cracked now, I would say, because you need to make the client really get educated about certain things. For example, let's be very simple. I'll put it simply. If you install solar panels at the start of your project, you are going to be costing the client some money. But on the longer run, the user's operational cost is going to reduce. It's a very simple logic.
Yeah.
So this applies in, larger scales at campus level, building level. So that's where you need to educate the client, where the quality of his space, whether he's a developer or he's a self-user. So how it's going to elevate the quality, he needs to understand from the beginning. So that's how you tackle this problem.
What skills do you think are the most critical for young architects entering the field today?
The most critical skill right now is very, very important, is knowing each and every software. You have to be technically up to date, and also with the AI tools. So the most important thing is that we forget to experiment. If you've heard about, let's say, Nano Banana or Mid Journey, why are you not opening and starting and trying and just experimenting and getting your findings from it? What happens is students start getting intimidated by the complexity of the softwares. So it's, you have to just leave that intimidation somewhere behind and just go for it. And there are tons of YouTube channels that will educate you completely. So I think software upgradation is key.
So what were the core values or skills you feel you learned at BNCA and will guide your practice today?
The most important thing that I learned from Dr. Kashyap and the entire faculty of BNCA through, like I said, I was a dancer, through my journey in BNCA as a dancer and an upcoming architect, was that you need to be completely outside the classroom and have your vision open. If you do things in a said way, like I cannot be saying that this is something that I have never been taught to do, so I don't know how to do it. No, never. Life will give you things that you will know. Okay, so you have to be in the mode of figuring out, and you will always be figuring out things, and that's how you will be able to take up new challenges. This is the most important skill I have learned from BNCA, because Dr. Kashyap pressed on learning outside the classroom.
So one question again related to BNCA is, if you had to summarize BNCA's role in your life, or in a word or a phrase, what could it be?
I don't think that I would have continued with architecture if it was not BNCA. And to be honest, I had, like everyone takes admission in 10 different colleges, I had also done that. But I categorically got attracted and pulled into this one because it was my destiny, and that college, that space made me grow, not as an architect, as a person. And they focused on the person's personality, and they really made that get evolved. So that's the reason why I don't think I would have been in any other college than BNCA.
So your work blends computation and creativity in the spirit of design for strength. How was the digital design made architecture more adaptable and resilient?
Okay, so in computational design, everything is backed heavily by logic and data. So it makes your mind think in sense of logic. Computational design is not just connecting some wires and creating a code or a program. It's thinking in a parametric sense. So when I talk about computation, how it's helping me in my projects, recently I did my thesis in Masters in Architecture, and my subject was elasticity of cities like Varanasi, where we are exploring cultural and spatial elastic properties of a city, especially when there is like a population influx and that goes and comes. And especially in Indian context, where there are market streets and all scales of shops and activities happening all around the street, this factor comes in play, where we collect all the data and we analyze and we synthesize, and then the results are obtained using tools like optimization and then taking it forward into techniques like machine learning, where your results are predicting the future aspects of the city as well. So this is a complex computational methodology, and now slowly we are bringing it into actual industrial practice as well. I feel like the industry is now ready to adapt to these computational techniques.
Strength is not just structural, it's cultural too.
Correct.
Through the Bollywood movement, you are exploring identity and art. So, how do you see culture as a form of resilience in architecture?
Yes. So, one thing I realized was that dancing is a non-dying profession because
Yeah.
you can just dance. Your
Dance.
heart just feels good.
Yes.
And the Bollywood movement focuses on getting like mental resilience, emotional resilience through dance. Where it is, it's focused on really forgetting your identity and being the character. Let's say it's a song, so you be the character of the song.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, if you're coming for like an hour or so, that 1 hour you're going to really get loose and forget yourself, your problems, your worries. And that's where I think this is an important part where as a dancer I'm contributing by making others dance and helping them forget who they are for at least for an hour.
Yeah.
So I think that's how we all should be. We need to have one avenue that you can really let go of everything and be in a zoned
Be
out
yourself.
space. Yeah, be yourself. Just go dance.
So, how has Meta Arch been a part of your journey?
So this
As a-
company, Meta Arch, was founded by my father in 1990, and I was born in 92. So it's been like 10 or 11 odd years that I have been here. And initially, the company was doing a lot of interior design and build projects. My father is not an architect; he's a mechanical engineer, but he is passionately into architecture. So when I came into the picture is when our company kind of pivoted and started taking upon more architectural commissions and jobs. And initially the years were very tough. I was really not understanding what's happening because the minute I entered, my journey and my friends' journeys were all different because all of them were in jobs and I was already here in my father's company where I was already being looked upon like a boss, but I was not really a leader. And at that time, I myself did not know how the industry works. So it was both at that time. So the pressure was double for me. So I was facing clients as an owner, but inside reality was that I did not know anything. So the figuring out journey started that time. And my first project was a big 3 lakh square feet IT building. And I was just thrown into it. And there were a lot of terms where I was just nodding my head in front of the client. And there was no GPT that time that you can secretly just scroll and check. Yeah. So I was just nodding and I would come back research. But that project shaped me. That one work. It was a tough client and it shaped me. And then I started understanding that no one's going to hold your hand and take you forward. Every job you have to realize. Even if it's like a shutter design. I have gone wrong in that. When we've designed shutters where it clashes to the wall. So these things are important. These failures, you will always remember throughout. Now, when you're designing a staircase or a big building or a campus, I'm paying attention to everything. And this is because of the series of failures or the problems. So yes, now after I finished my master's architecture, now I'm pivoting to computational design. So a 35-year-old company is now pivoting into a different approach of computation and advanced fabrication. And many people in the company are still from the olden times, right? So they have a big question mark, like how are you going to make this? So it's important for me to bring that into practice and really educate everyone, educate the client. Otherwise, India will not go ahead. So it's our responsibility to really take it ahead as legacy practices.
What are the challenges do you think the future architects will face?
I feel in India right now, a lot that this is called a brain drain. So a lot of kids are going abroad for masters, picking up on methodologies and workflows that are working in the West, but they are staying there and they're not coming back. the practices that are in India are sadly the ones that are not exposed. I'm talking about the majority ones, not the special ones. Okay, so the majority practices are still doing what the West was doing maybe 10 or 15 years back. So this is a big problem. The first thing we need to do is, if we are getting big education outside, my example is that I took a firm call saying that no, I have to go back because our country is a developing nation and our contribution is absolutely important. So the problem that the architects will face currently, if the educated lot doesn't come back to the society, is there will be a lack of exposure to, let's say, computational tools and advanced practices. So this is one thing that either if you're picked up something and been exposed to, you come back and educate the society, or if you're here, then you have to step up your game and you have to really do some self-learning
Have
and
experience.
I think more than that, you need to open your eyes and start looking at what the world is doing. And I think India is ready for that, because I believe that there are international architects building our airports, but at the same time we are too scared to do the same methodology in our regular practice in our cities, right? So a few special buildings are calling upon architects from the West, but we as Indians have more ability to do it. So the current architectural practices, if we do not upgrade ourselves in terms of technical upgradation, technical skills, then we are going to stay behind.
Could you talk about the architecture practices and what will be the future of practice in the future 10 years?
So as an observer, so I'm not offending anybody, as an observer, what I feel is that a mass majority of architecture practices are builder friendly. They want to keep the client happy, the builder happy, and builders are more interested. I am not again saying, not offending anybody, but it's a general mindset that they are interested in quantity of real estate rather than quality of space. It's common. And if I was a builder, I would be the same. Okay, because I'm investing my hard-earned money. So I'm not calling anybody wrong. But again, like I said, architects need to educate the client, educate the users that this quality is needed. Look, I mean, 15 years back, 20 years back, you go to our old parts of the city and you will see those buildings completely degraded. There are kind of, dungeons happening in between buildings. The space requirement is not proper. The method was, different at that time. And you're seeing that somebody made a change. And that is why, the trend changed. So we need to become trendsetters. If we are understanding that, okay, cost cutting is not, going to be useful in the long run, and for the strength in design, then I feel that educating the client is most important. And the practices need to now stop doing that so that the trend changes.
So for this year's theme, Design for Strength, how would you take this word forward?
So we are already, this is a beautiful theme for this year, but this has already been a core value in our practice, where our architecture has to be climate responsive. It has to cater to social needs, and the building has to be sustainable in the long run. So keeping this in mind, we are doing a lot of analysis using advanced computational methods. We are making sure that the materials that are being used in the building are climate responsive, the resilience is met. We are trying and avoiding import unnecessary carbon footprint that's completely unnecessary in the building is being eliminated. So this is our approach. We try and keep it absolutely minimalist, completely, like I said, climate responsive is there, but trying and focusing on local materials, trying and understanding if we can, through advanced fabrication, 3D printing, create some of our own components in the building structure. So all this goes to focusing on strength in design, which is making the building ready for changing social needs, changing interactions through the building, changing climate. So this is how our approach has been through the years. So tracing back to our works, I keep saying our because it was a group effort. So tracing back to our work of elasticity, which is our MArch thesis, where we mapped out essential market streets in India. So the case study was Varanasi, but it applies to the entire city fabric in India. What happens is, in the redevelopment, we completely forget these needs. We forget the pan wala and maybe the cart that sells coconut water. Now you tell me, any shop, have you seen that it has never had a spillover? Be it a mall or a car showroom, they will come out in the front space.
Yeah, they will occupy
They will occupy. If you saw this street, today's Dasra, there are pani puri vendors, marigold vendors, all of them are on the street.
Yes.
So can we eliminate them?
No.
No matter how rich India becomes, you can never eliminate these components. I mean, you go to New York, you will find a hot dog seller on a cart only.
Yeah.
Correct? So as architects, we cannot forget every user in the society. So how do we think? Do we erase them all out and, give them a 300, 500 square feet shop?
No.
They will put that on rent and come out again.
Yeah.
Correct? So logically, through computation, what we did in elasticity was we reframed the grid of the city. We did a lot of pedestrian simulations using plugins. We understood what was the wait time, attractiveness of a space, what is the pull force of a space, So maybe on a day like today, a Nariyal Wala is going to have more crowd. So we mapped out this data. This data is already there. It's simple. You just have to record it.
Yeah.
Then we overlapped the data. We understood the street networks. How much is one point in the city there is a betweenness centrality, there is a closeness centrality. So, where does that rank? So we did a ranking system. And then we laid out a grid in such a way that some parts of it are absolutely fixed. Some parts of it are maybe just, temporal, and the remaining parts are absolutely free for a plug and play. So you need to give a space to the Hadgadi wala or the cart so that they can get accommodated. This is accommodating everybody in the society. That is when the spillovers on the streets will stop. And this applies to everything. You go to Bombay, any road, half the width of the road is gone because of the spillovers of the tapris and the shops on the road. You go to Dharavi, you put them in a tower tomorrow, they're all going to come out. They have that social need. So we need to focus on bring out this social need catered to in our architecture. And computation is a good way to help you synthesize the data.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I mean, that architecture has to be resilient, and that's where that strength really lies in.
Yeah. Thank you so much.